to shine upon us. Grant us the discernment to make just and equitable decisions, the courage to act with integrity, and the unity to work toward the common good. Strengthen us to serve with humility and to uphold the responsibilities entrusted to us. Amen. So it looks as though we have up under old business,
People still signing in.
okay, fair enough.
And we need to record.
Land use for horses, I understand we have, several people that want to make some comments today. Just so everybody knows, we're still taking everything, under advisement. We're not going to be voting on anything today, but we do welcome comments, suggestions and questions. So with that, I understand that people have been given numbers if they wish to speak. So, I would ask Mr. Grossman, we're going to do 2 minutes per person. If you want to come up to the podium in your order, and we'll hear what you have to say. So I guess with that.
I'm Paul Bridgewater. I'm a resident of Scott Township, and I'm speaking on behalf of a resident of Scott Township, but I also happen to be working for the park, the main person upkeeping the park, in addition to others, for the past 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years. I know we're really restricted on time, so the main point of what I wanted to tell you guys is I've given each of you a packet that contains the 35 emails or messages that were sent as a request that I received to make it public, to have input from the public. So I don't know how many were for or opposed or right in the middle or whatever. That's not my worries. I will caution you that not all of these are from your constituents. And in fact, some of those are duplicates of people who sent emails from both their work emails and their personal emails. But everything I received is included in your packet for you to see for yourself what the people have to say, pro or con. Me personally, if I had to decide right now, I would have to say that I am opposed to it. A lot of it has to do with knowing the condition of the park and the lack of resources we have to maintain what we currently have. We are actually very behind on some of the infrastructure that's starting to decay and fail now. If you're bringing on more infrastructure that we're going to have to keep up, we do not have the funding available to do so. The picture that I've given you there, that is my addition to that. That's a picture that I took back in, I think it was June of 24. At that point, it was just, it wasn't even, the point wasn't to see the trail, but there's a lot of concerns about.
For 2 minutes. Okay, thank you. And one other thing, we could state your name and residence for everybody before we give comments.
My name is Jenny Pitzer-Grisman. I've been a lifelong resident of Scott Township. I don't live in Scott Township right now. Eventually plan to be back. And I was listening to the meeting before. What I did not hear is anybody that happened to be present and working with Bob when all this went down, the acquisition of the property. I did. And at that time, Bob did not want the horses in the park. He asked us to tell people if they were on horseback to leave. He also was the one who decided that the fences needed to come down. So I do not doubt whatsoever in any way, shape, or form Carmen's words with Bob and how she heard them. I do not doubt that that's what's been said. But later on, as time went on, then I was one of them that was there then. We volunteered to work at the park to keep it up. I planted all the flowers in the front, carried all the rocks around the lake, odds and ends for several years. So the park was built for the residents and anybody else who wanted to come. I checked the census just for fun. 2006, the population of Scott Township was 5,400. 2026, it was 10,700. So there's a lot of people who need a natural environment to enjoy. So I would like to know this, but I don't really live here, so I don't know if it counts. That's all I have.
Thank you. And one other thing I've been asked is to see if, make sure everybody's signed in. I guess if you haven't, we have sign-in sheets up here. Number 3.
Mine is much longer than 2 minutes, but I will try to condense it. I do want to say that I found some emails of Bob Harris agreeing to allowing horse riding, stating that we can't ride on the walking trails, but we can ride beside them. This was back on September 23rd, 2018. It does have his email on here. And I also have a canceled check that was written to Scott Township for field rent. That was made in 2020. So we did have several conversations about all this that we agreed upon. I want to say that I'm genuinely glad to see that the community enjoys this property. My family cared about this land for many years. I spent much of my life there riding, working, being outdoors. It means a great deal to me, and I truly love that it means so much to so many people. A brief history of the sale. When my dad passed away, I approached the township to purchase some of that property to add to the existing park. Many members of my family did not want to sell and believed it would have been financially beneficial to sell it to a developer. I spent a year fighting to make that sale happen with the park. I have documentation and emails showing how much pushback I was getting from my family. And I still don't talk to some of my family now because of it. My only request at that time to Mr. Harris was that we be allowed to continue riding on the property. And that request was fully supported. From 2019 to 2021, we did ride back there with permission. There were no issues, no complaints, no safety concerns. In fact, many people were excited to see the horses. They would stop and talk. Kids would come up and pet the horses. This isn't about introducing something new. This is about reinstating something that was agreed upon and that worked successfully for years. And I want to be clear, this proposal does not. Am I done? Well, dang it.
If you want, and I say this to anybody, if you have prepared statements or anything in addition that you want to say beyond the 2 minutes, you're always welcome to email us copies of whatever it is
Okay.
you'd like for us to hear. Thank you.
My name's Doug Angemeyer. I live on Greer Road. I'm a lifelong resident of this Scott Township. I oppose the trail riding of horses on this park. For one thing, this park is not large enough. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to Shawnee National Park and been on those horse trails. There's a great deal of erosion. I mean, and I've looked up some statistics here. Is the U.S. Forest Service has a nationwide trail maintenance backlog, of over $380 million. This is a backlog. They spend $80 million annually for trail maintenance. And I think before you allow trail riding on this property, you need to go to Shawnee National Forest and just walk about a half a mile on these trails. The soil erosion is incredible. And this type of soil that our park is made of is called loess. It's spelled LOESS. Google this soil type. It's prone to water erosion. And once you start trail riding on that, it gets gullied out. I've seen this firsthand at Shawnee National Forest. They often have to move trails over or shut them down completely. And in sensitive areas of Shawnee National Forest, they allow no horseback riding at all. So, if you want to see examples of erosion at the park, walk down to the creek, by the picnic table. You'll see the bank is falling in. That's from water erosion. You go further down that creek, large cherry tree has fallen over because the soil was eroded around the base of the tree. And you know that bridge, that new bridge you built up on there? That was, sorry. I had a really good ending.
Thank you.
I'm Tom Miller. I live on Castlebrook Road, just down from the park. Basically, I just want to just talk a few minutes about, I think in 2023, there was a push for a number of multi-use trails in the park, mainly around hiking, talking about cross-country, talking about having cycling paths on there and areas for, say, pump tracks for kids and things like that. And, I think, 3i Engineering had done some work on that. And then, Brad Scales of Trail Crew had put the, proposal together on that. I hopefully this still progress. There was a lot of interest from people that use the park. I am concerned that if horses are allowed back in the park, that this would have to be completely abandoned because of the way that this is utilizing the property and how it would have to be intermeshed with horses. So, I just, want to encourage you guys to keep looking at these, trail, projects and, for cross-country, cycling, hiking, and, keep considering those. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, Michael Doherty, property owner, Petersburg Road, Scott Township. I'm a horse owner, absolutely love having more places for horses to ride. But after talking to the Vanderbilt County Attorney this week, I'm also for equalization of everybody that has access to it, especially public land. So from Scott Township's own ordinances, IC 36-10-7.5-8, you can look in there, and the leasing requires you guys to allow multiple access. Allowing a single owner to have access through that is a de facto privatization of public property due to lack of alternative resources. If you're going to allow anybody to enter the property on horse, you have to have access for the public through the front. This was amended by the state of Indiana under PL 271-1993, section 11. So like I said, I'm a horse owner, would love to have it, but if you allow any property, you have to allow all property owners around to access the property through that for the Fairness and Equity Act, and to not allow improper private enrichment for public access. Indiana Title Code 36-1-10 also speaks on that. So if you do approve this, there would be an injunction first day and probably a suit in federal court to go against this just because it violates state law. So, like I said, I'm for horses, would love to see it happen, but you have to give every property owner around there access, as well as people, residents in Scott Township, to come in and place to park their trailers and ride through. So thank you for your time, and I apologize. I got to run. I got a baby to feed. So.
Thank you. The most important.
That's priority.
Was 5 or 6, I think. I lost track.
That was 6.
Six.
All right, I'm 7. Okay. I thought I wake up. Well, I thought that was 5. Well, yeah. Okay, Randy Gilbert, live on Woodland Hills. Our property does touch the park. Just from experience where I used to, part of the deal where I used to hunt was had started is that mine? Or drywall guy. I thought I turned it off. Sorry. I'll call him back. Part of the deal was to have access to hunting and this was in Elkin, Kentucky, they were setting up a riding cowboy camp type deal. That was going to be his business, close to Nashville, St. Louis. Unbelievable number of people would come to this thing. But part of it was cutting trails through there. They had 175 acres. Within a year, they had
enormous erosion on every hillside. And they were only riding about once a month. I just think that that's part of it that you need to think about. It pretty much scarred that land for a long time. I haven't been down there in a couple of years, but at that point, they hadn't ridden in about 10 years. It is still, the trails are washed out on every hillside. It's not on the flats, but on the hillsides, they're washed to the point where there's nothing but roots on the trails. And I guess my next statement is that what we need to look at is how many people actually own horses in Scott Township, and how often would they use it versus how often people are walking on it. And where did the division, there was a question about the division of keeping the horses totally separate. Walkers wouldn't be able to intermix. So that, I'm not real sure where that came from. I just saw it on the placards you guys had. So I'm not sure who came up with, they're saying, the horse people are saying they didn't come up with it, and
Yeah, I have some.
so, okay, yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. I was hoping I was gonna be like later.
Thank you.
My name is Morris Bitzer. I live Brownwood Lane, just adjacent to the park. First of all, I'd like to thank Paul and his wife for taking excellent care of that park. It is pristine. I walk my dog over there multiple times a week. All last year, since we got back from Florida, I walked the whole perimeter yesterday. It just couldn't be any nicer. It's mowed nice and smooth. It's perfect. My only comment, my main concern is if the board allows horses, I think you must segregate dogs and horses. I just see a liability there. A horse is a big, powerful animal. I walk the trail with my dog. I know it's a non-leash area. Hardly anybody keeps their dog on a leash back there because it's wide open. I can recall my dog very quickly. I train her to do that. And if I see anybody else, I recall her and leash her. And I know that's against the rules, but the reality is people don't leash their dog. Sometimes people who do leash their dogs, I've had at that park, 80-pound ladies on the other end of a Burmese mountain dog could not hold the dog back. So whatever you guys decide to do, I like the way it is right now. I understand that people who own horses would like access to, that's understandable also. It's not my job to jump in on you guys' decision, but it's nice the way it is now. A horse is a big animal. There's a lot of liability. Okay. Dogs, worst thing's going to happen, someone's going to get dog bit. Horse can throw a rider, horse can knock somebody over nearby. You can have real serious liability issues if you have dogs and horses together. That property is in 3 equal segments. You got a northeast corner adjacent to the stables. You got a northwest corner that basically is over there on the hill, goes up. And then you got that central section. If you look on a map, they're about all the same size. There's some natural ways to divide it. We could say horses are not going to go beyond this, dogs aren't going beyond that. That's what I wanted to say.
All right, thank you. Anybody else to comment? 8 or 9?
9 is the next one.
9, okay.
9 was not handed out, but 15 through 20 were, if they chose
Okay.
to speak.
17.
15.
15.
Had to like double check.
Hello, I'm Courtney Nayland. I was here at the first meeting 2 months ago. I wanted to share a little about my personal experience. I'm 100% on board for this. I have lived in this tri-state area for 46 years of my life. I work full-time in the medical field as a paramedic. I'm a homeschool mom of 2. I help coordinate the largest co-op, homeschool co-op in this area. We're actually at co-op right now, and I took time out of my day to come here because I'm that passionate about it and I believe in it that much. We have over 230 participants at this co-op in itself. And we have about 120 families. They are all over this area, including in Scott Township. I have spoken to those that do not go to our co-op, and they actually are in other co-ops. There are literally hundreds of homeschooling families in this area. I run a resource center for homeschoolers, and we always overwhelmingly have interest in people wanting to look for ways to have unique experiences. I do want to point out something, since I'm limited on time, just to address, if you did not get copies of her papers out there, please go read them, do your due diligence. You should be looking at the information, not going by the false information that was shared, or the miscommunication of things that were shared. And you will see that a lot of this stuff that people are opposed to have actually been addressed, including having equal access. And I know that gentleman left, and that's okay. He will hopefully watch the live stream. I know other people are watching. So it actually does not restrict other horse riders at all. It actually keeps everyone still safe. The fact that the previous gentleman mentioned about not having dogs on leashes, even though it's against the rules, I get it. However, for them to break a rule to justify the horses not being allowed kind of seems like a moot point. Yeah, so if you'd like to hear my information later, you just come to me.
Thank you.
Mhm.
16.
Looks like mine now.
Yeah.
My name is Jim Waller, and I have lived in Darmstadt since about, I can't remember, 1992 or so. I'm a second resident, live over on Darmstadt Road. And my wife and I retired several years ago. She and I are animal lovers. That includes everything, horses, dogs, mostly dogs. And we were concerned about many of the issues you've heard about so far. A big one for us is we probably get over to the park, and Paul can verify this, as much as anyone. We're over there every morning, 2.5, 3 mile walk with our 3 dogs. We very often get over there again in the evening. And our concern, again, has been said by others, we want to have access to the park. It's a beautiful facility. Most of you probably know Paul. I mean, he has done so much for the area. It's unbelievable. And for 2 retired people trying to maintain their health span and their lifespan by staying active, would hate to see anything happen to the area that would prevent us from doing that. And when we go out there and walk, we're real walkers, we're real hikers. And I know there are many other people that feel the same way and do the same thing. So if there's, when I came in here, I wasn't aware of all the issues, and I've heard some now. I certainly would have no problem sharing the area with horses. If that can be done, it can be done safely. But I absolutely do not want to lose that property for those of us who enjoy birding, hiking, rucking, walking your dogs. It's a fabulous facility. So that's all I got to say about it. And I'm going to cut out of here because I've got senior softball practice in about 10 minutes.
Oh, man. You go for it.
I'm the senior.
17?
My name's Glenn Miller. I live just on Cemetery Road here in Scott Township. First of all, I'd like to thank Paul. He's kept the park really up and running, and he's really instrumental in making the park what it is today. I saw that park evolve from years ago, from me being here to what it is today, and through Keith and people like Paul and unsung heroes behind the scenes. That park's really evolved and has continued to evolve into a really nice park. I do trail maintenance. I've done trail maintenance in Harmony, Shawnee Town. I've hiked Shawnee Town, like the gentleman said. I've hiked the trails and shared the trails with horses. I know when I go and it's a horse trail, it's going to be a rough walk.
Amen.
I mean, any hiker knows if you share the trails with horses, it's going to be a rough walk. Have I had good experiences with the horses and the hikers? Absolutely. We get out of their way, we let them pass, it's trail etiquette. And most hikers know trail etiquette, so they all get along and they do. The problem is the horses do damage the trails. I love horses, I love the dogs. But when there's a mix and like the soil is another issue. I built bridges over Scott Park just because of the soil erosion. It washes when it rains, it washes. I've done lots of trail maintenance over there and it is a really an ongoing issue for the soils we have over there. It's a beautiful park. I don't know how we get around that new issue that I just learned about today with the lawyer speaking to that gentleman that had left earlier. I don't know. But I hope we can have someone to speak in our favor if it's a legal issue that we can go to battle with something like that, because it's over my head and most other people's heads. But I hope we can, since he's iterated that this meeting, I hope we can find somebody on equal level to work on that level with. If they're gonna bring lawyers into the fact, I hope we can work on that level, we'll bring lawyers into the issue too. Hopefully we don't have to do any of that to resolve the problem. So,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 18.
I'm Elizabeth Hannigan. I live on Woodland Hills Drive and my property is adjacent to the park. I'm one of the oldest members that have lived on Woodland Hills Drive. The Sprinkles, Brett Sprinkle lives right down the road from me and his family was there originally. My father bought that property in '65 and we have enjoyed the park for many years. I returned to this property to live where I am currently and for a reason. We have wonderful privacy on our lane and no one has spoken anything about the wildlife in that area. Our little woods there is a haven for a great multitude of wildlife. And we feed them, take care of them, and enjoy them. And it's a wonderful experience for children and families to go back to the park and enjoy it also. I'd like for you to keep that in mind, that park is a future for the children of Scott Township. And I have a concern about who's going to monitor any other activity that's going to be occurring in those open fields and how to contain that. I wouldn't have a clue as to how that would happen. I have people who go to the park that intrude on my property. There's no fencing. There's no way to protect that intrusion from happening. So I have a great concern about that. So please keep in mind that we want to preserve and keep that park in the state that it's in, so we can all appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to give my time to Carmen, please. Thank you.
Were you number 19?
Yes, I'm number 19.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that was happening. Let me just add that we've been riding on that property for over 40 years. So we've been, since I was a kid, all the way up until 2021, probably some into 2022. So as far as like land erosion, all those concerns, I mean, we've always rode on that property. As far as wildlife, we ride with the wildlife. We don't scare them off. So the wildlife's never afraid of the horses. If we were on the ground, they might be more afraid, but as far as on the horses, they aren't. And I just want to be clear that I'm not trying to conduct business activity or use township property for customer growth. This is all about my family land and wanting to still enjoy it how we enjoyed it all those years. But I had so many points and I don't know which to pick out. Let me just say, I have so much paperwork over there with the plan, with questions and answers. There's a Indiana 2026 to 2030 statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. And this actually coincides with what the state of Indiana is trying to do. They're trying to make things more accessible for different activities and to grow parks that benefit more communities. And so there's a paper about that. There's a summary of my actual talk that's there. I've got a bunch of papers. Let's see, there was, what else I was going to say? I believe that, I'm sorry, I didn't know she was gonna do this, so I'm not prepared. My goal is just not to take anything away from anyone, but to find a fair, reasonable solution where all members of the community do enjoy the space. Please read the material.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 20,
I'm number 20 and I'm giving mine to Paul back.
So, in addition to what I said earlier, what I would like to propose is actually not, I know you said earlier there won't be a vote today, and I'm glad to hear that. My proposal would be that we table this for a minimum 6 months so that we can do a proper study to see what the impact of the land would be, what the true cost would be to the park. Again, because of the problems with budgetary reasons that we all know we have at that park, to understand what the impact of the park's really going to be, how many of your constituents truly want this, and how many constituents truly don't, or what's the middle road for that. I know there's a lot of questions about, segregation, not segregation. That was based on comments about keeping clear delineation that was made by the deputy trustee, and also some words similar to that the trustee used in the last meeting. Farmer's proposal does not say delineate between them, but I happen to know that some of the discussions going on the actual implementation could include that. Never was it said it will include that. It said it could include that. So the other thing I want you to understand is that all of the other areas that I have found, all of the state parks, the national forest, all that stuff around here, they have to pay a fee to access that property. They don't have a budget for all this either. There are permits for horses that they have to pay. There are daily entry fees that they have to pay. That is all capital that they get to help maintain their park. We're talking about open and free access for horses to come in here. Now, you do talk about defined trails. The difference between, I agree with what Carmen said about it's not tearing up, but it will, now that they're defined trails, the horses will always be on the same trail. They will start eroding if they're always been on the same trail.
Thank you.
thank you. 21, where's Jen?
Yep, I'm the final one.
Oh, okay.
Yep, all right. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna allow my daughter Emily to be the first one to speak. Okay, I will be the first one to speak. The reason why I want to speak up is simply on the mental wellness portion. Everly actually is a student of Carmen's, and I will say horses have changed Everly's life completely. She suffers from a lot of anxiety, depression, dyslexia, ADHD, and these horses changed her and they changed me. So, I work in mental health. I am the HR director at Brentwood Springs. So I see this stuff every day, and the growth and the equine therapy that they can provide, and how they changed her. You never know, it could change anybody. Even anyone seeing one of the horses on the trail could change their outlook on a horse and help you change their life. So I'm coming at this as she would have an opportunity to learn more, to be able to ride her horse freely, not just in an arena. And actually today I am leaving in 5 minutes to go purchase our very first horse from a local trainer. And it has truly changed all of our lives. So please consider. Help you gain more experience. Gain more experience. Yeah, it would help her gain more faith in herself and trust in herself, and to help her grow as an equestrian as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate getting this.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Is that everyone?
Can you take one more?
We can take one more.
So I wasn't gonna talk, but after hearing everyone, and I'm in support of this.
Yep.
Now, I do not, my name
Nate?
is Don Inman. I live in Center Township. I just live just south of Scott Township. My kids go to school in Scott Township. You know, my wife grew up in Scott Township. I've known Carmen since, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, so it's been a while. Things I didn't hear was, like, what's the traffic? Like, are we talking about a high volume of traffic, you know, coming through? I know that some of you are in scouts and scouting. I would think that you would look at the benefits of how that could help scouting, either Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or, you know, whatever other organization you were in. Definitely with the mental health benefits. My daughter rode with Carmen for a while. She was always really quiet, but for some reason, once she got there with the horses, you know, it really caused her to come out a little bit. Even today, she doesn't ride the horses as much, but she goes there and visits the horses in the stables every now and then whenever she gets down and out. So I just feel that with the land on the Scott Township Park, on that Scott Park, with that being there, that we can come up with as long as it's legal, come up with a way where everyone wins, you know? So I do agree with the gentleman, I think Paul or whoever that said, let's look at it, put it off 6 months. I do definitely agree with that, but I believe that investigation, that all that documentation should come from both sides. And they do their due diligence over the next 8 months and then bring that information together and see what we can work out. So I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Nope.
Not fast enough.
Well, with that, I'd like to thank everybody who came.
Yes, thank you.
And gave your comments. Like I said, this is still going under advisement. And if anybody, you know, going forward has anything else that you want to add, again, you're welcome to come back to another meeting or send us emails, however you want to communicate, whatever your opinions and positions are.
What email should we send it?
Do we, I guess.
Send to you.
So it's,
You don't want it.
I don't know.
No, I mean, he's the president of the board, so he should receive it.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know my Scott Township email address.
SEID.
I know that much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of lengthy, so.
Scott.
Then write the at sign, but then go to the next one. SCOTT. CWP. PRUSTE. IN.com. Same thing as there's 3 T's in the middle there.
That way we have one depository, you can disseminate to all of us, so.
That'll work. Okay. All right. Moving on, we have, under new business, we have a Cub Scout Pack 350 resolution.
So we had Cub Scout Pack 350 that donated 16 handcrafted birdhouses to the park and installed them. So we have a resolution. Would you like me to read the whole thing or highlights?
Highlights.
Okay, thank you. So the Cub Scouts constructed 16 birdhouses. They distributed them throughout the park. So we just want to recognize those boys with the efforts that they undertook and to beautify the park and to add more things. So you guys would make a motion.
I'll make a motion to
Approve that resolution.
approve resolution 2026-006 for Cub Scout Pack 350 for their birdhouse contribution.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. And of course, you guys are welcome to stick around for this, or you're also free to.
Or,
Yeah, you're free to leave if you wish. If you don't,
You don't have to stay, but
You don't have to
you're welcome.
stay.
not forcing you out.
you're not forcing you out either, okay? And you're not offending us if you walk out. We understand those. So the next,
Give this to you and
Sure.
it's also in it.
so the next, resolution is for, JCS Wildlife. They partnered with the Cub Scouts and to make this happen, to get the 16 bird boxes up. So you guys pass that, please.
I move to pass resolution 2026-007 to JCS for providing the materials for the Cub Scouts to build the birdhouse.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Next on the list of resolution is our, agreement to work with AmeriCorps. It's called a BOT resolution. For those that are here that don't know, I'll quickly explain. In dire need of additional office space, not only for the Vanderbilt County Fire folks, but also for the Scott Township office people. There's a property that has come available in Darmstadt, and we're using AmeriCorps to help secure that property, make renovations, and was necessary for us to move in. So this basically follows state code 5-23-1-1 to cross all the i's and dot the t's and all that other stuff that you have to do to acquire property. So you guys would make a motion, and then there's an A line and an A line. So
I'll make a motion to approve 2026-008, adopting Indiana Code 523, related to the bot and the possible purchase of the property in Darmstadt.
I will second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
So the next one is for Chief David Edmondson. Everyone, well, everybody's still here, knows that he lost his battle with cancer. So we felt as the township, we want to recognize his years of service. And we have a resolution stating that, and also creating that August 1st will now be Dave Edmondson Day in Scott Township. So you guys approve that. And this will be dutifully framed and presented to Marta.
I move to approve resolution 2026-010, honoring Chief David Edmondson for his many years of service to the township.
I would be happy to second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The next step on new business is, we now have a need. Oh, I should say, we will now yield the floor to, I didn't see you up there. Deputy Trustee, would you please state your name, ma'am, for the record?
And Bill Craig. We have two necessary requests for Venmo. The first one is, again, the park is going transformation. Paul's been working on the Rainbow Bridge, which most of you are aware of. And we do have people that are willing to donate, but we don't have a way to collect funds on demand, so to speak. QuickBooks is our accounting system in addition to the state issued TOM system, but neither one allow for any types of donations to be made without sending an invoice. And in the interest of capturing the thought while it's still fresh in their mind, we'd like to propose using Venmo so that people can freely come to the website and scan the QR code and donate to that platform. It would be in accordance with the State Board of Accounts, because we just heard about it at training 2 weeks ago. Also, the fire department, it has registrations for educational classes, and that would allow another access point for students to pay online. There's different platforms on the back end of Venmo as far as credit cards and financing and stuff that we don't need to see, but that does allow the students another access point to pay. So I know the question will be, has the state looked at it? And the state said that the board needs to allow the approval of Venmo, and then we may move forward with the use of it, but the board has to bless it first.
Kendall, is there any extra work that's required by the office to do the Venmo?
I mean, it's gonna be the same amount with any platform. We'll have to export who actually paid or donated, and then those transactions have to be recorded into the accounting system. But that's no different than if we would just send them an invoice or they were to write a
Okay.
check, so.
Okay.
It's just,
You have a,
There's no,
it's just a,
there's motion on that one.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of Venmo for donation and shelter house payments, for the township.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Do we have the
Minutes.
minutes to approve?
I left a copy.
Right there.
You'll have to make a motion. I'm not sure I can motion to approve of the minutes.
Who's your own minutes?
I don't know that I can make a motion to approve my own minutes.
I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for February 17th, 2026.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have any review of financials?
so these are on the advisory board Dropbox, but they were.
Percolating, it looks like. It was trying to.
Yes.
While it tries to load, this would be for January and February.
There you go.
We do have 3 bank accounts. We have the Old National account that's basically dormant at this point, but we do have, some outstanding checks that need to clear. We can't legally clear them until they sat for 2 years. We also have the medical account. And all of these reports are with no errors. And then we have the general account, which again is no error. So we have all 3 of those accounts with those 3 reports. And then we have the month-end balance sheet. I went ahead and ran through the end of February from the beginning of the year. So we did move the dormant funds that you voted on before, the firehouse debt, the shelter fees. We moved the Scott Township Park. That was back when they had the ball program. All of those have been closed out and moved to the according funds that you guys voted on. I don't have any red flags on any of the reports. So I don't know what questions you might have.
The money in ONB, that's to make a final lease payment, is that right?
No, we currently are having that loan taken out of the German account, but we've not closed the account because there's 2 outstanding checks that have not closed. It's more than enough, but we just not close the account because we still have the outstanding checks on it.
Cause yeah,
But
there's,
there's no deposits going into that account.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was a reason we were keeping that sum in there.
Originally, that was to be drafted out of that account. We switched it on the last payment. However, it did not go well. They actually deducted the wrong loan out and overdrafted it, so I would not feel confident moving that money out until we know it's gonna work seamless.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, it
Do
was,
you need a motion to accept?
January and February.
I'll make a motion to accept the January, February 26 financial reports.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Report on township assistance.
I don't really have anything. We have had a burial, but there's nothing financially that needs to be discussed.
Didn't you have creating new funds?
Oh, yeah, I put that on financial.
Oh.
I can do it later on this one, either way.
Oh.
fine. Wherever you want me to go.
Do it now.
Okay.
Since I had it, that's what I had in the amended
Sorry.
agenda.
Yeah. That's
This
okay.
was not on the original agenda, and that's my mistake. At the State Board of Accounts training, we learned that there are certain transactions that need to have their own fund created. It's not associated with the tax rate. The first one is for, there's actually two. There's two grants that have been approved for the fire department. One is for the use of blood products, and the second one is kind of a, how would you say that, miscellaneous.
It's part of the
community
multi-grant
partnership?
help. Yeah, it's a part of a community partnership and assistance for some of the tangible consumables that we frequently use and have to navigate finding ways to get for patients that are on fixed income and unable to qualify for these consumables, medical consumables and DME and that kind of thing through our follow-up program. So
the state says that if there's a grant, each grant has to have their own fund so that we can see the money come in and the money go right back out. It's not convoluted with other liabilities or expenditures. The third one is the CARES program, which was formerly part of a grant. So if we place a grab bar at someone's house, that expenditure to place the grab bar is the actual product, and then someone covers the fee, that needs to be in a separate fund item. And then the fourth one is deposits. We previously took deposits on the rentals of the shelter house and clubhouse. And then we had some issues with how do we navigate that. We've been able to figure out a way to send a separate invoice so that they pay the rental invoice and they pay the deposit invoice. But we don't want that to actually hit the tax rate because that's all going to show as revenue, even though the next Monday we're going to give it right back to them. So that would be the fourth fund. I do not have fund numbers. The state is still going back and forth on what they should be assigned, but those are the four ones. So you have grant one, grant two, the CARES reimbursements, and just general deposits and refunds for the park.
And Kendall, since the fire departments had several grants come in, do we need to have a third one in case something comes in, just so, as a placeholder, I'm just
I
asking.
mean, I guess you could approve that any grant automatically gets it gets its own fund as deemed by the grant application. That way you don't have to come back every time, but.
Well, they've gotten several this year, so.
Did they have a suggested way of dealing with that? Where if a grant comes in between our meetings to create
I
that
mean, the
fund?
grants that you're approving today have already been approved, and the money should be here, my knowledge, any day.
Yeah.
and we would
Or
know.
are you talking about for any future grants?
Future
Yeah.
grants
Yeah.
coming in that she can just go ahead and, since it's a grant,
Yeah, so what's typically the time from when you said you get the notice, hey, you got your grant?
To the time we get the money.
Yeah, till you get your money.
Is on what it is. Yes, that's gonna vary, just whether it's a state grant, a federal grant, a local grant. Like a lot of the local ones, if we were like the community foundation, if we applied for a community foundation, and the day they award it is the day it's eligible to be drawn from.
Oh,
Technically, if we wanna get technical, if we get the donation from the West Side Nut Club, that's technically a grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it requires an application technically,
Yep.
so
depends.
So Kendall, if, let's use the West Side Nut Club as an example. If they grant $1 and we spend it, and then next year they grant us more money, can it go back into that same account or does it have to go to a new?
The way I understood it, it was every grant has to have its own. So that way, if they come back and audit and say, whether it's the state or the grant issuer says, show us.
So you'd have West Side Nut Club 2026, West Side Nut Club 2027, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make two motions. Just to I make a motion that we create 4 new funds, grants 1 and 2, CARES, and a deposit/refund for the current
For rentals.
For rentals.
rentals.
I will second that motion. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
And my second motion is for future grants, Kendall be allowed to establish a fund for any grants
At the township office.
uh,
The township office.
that the town, okay, oh man. That the township office can set up accounts for any new funds, grants that come in for any of the township functions, whether the fire department, parks, et cetera.
I will second that motion. Further discussion, with that idea, is that something that we would have to come back, like after you set them up and the money comes in, would we have to come back at the next meeting and retroactively prove that? Or is this
I
motion
think
gonna
if you
cover?
approved it in your motion, fine, but I think it would be courtesy just to include it as a highlight in the report.
And that's
Because
it.
we had to create this because of.
Fair enough. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Anything else in township assistance, or we want to move on to Parks and Rec? We have anything for it? All right. Fire Merit Board? Come on down.
No, I don't think we have anything for the mayor commission, other than last Wednesday, our hiring advertisement closed. We had 6 applicants this week. They're taking their written exams virtually, online platform, and then we will interview anybody that completes their written exam by Friday, and then decide from there to fill the vacancy that we have. For mayor commission.
Anything for fire territory?
No, unfortunately. Number 1 on the docket there is the ladder truck resolution. So back in the end of 2024, we came to replace our ladder truck early due to the rising cost and the cost savings by doing it early. So we proceeded with that. Contract was signed. Truck is actually, the chassis has been inspected and has been shipped to Snyder, Nebraska, which is where the ladder is being built and the body will be built. They notified us last week that our truck is scheduled with Smeal to be completed it's like the second week of August. Originally, we were in the first quarter of 27, and that's how far it's been moved up in the process. We did end up with a 2026 motor that saved us a credit back to the original agreement of 59,000 and change. I will openly say that we already spent that money though on change orders prior to that. So it's almost a net zero, I think, from our original bid price of just a little over 2 million for the truck. After the credit back, we're like an increase of 11,000 on a $2 million project. That was the changes that were established at the pre-construction, and then a couple things that were caught after that needed to be added to the truck before it was built. So I think Keith has the resolution for us to be able to move forward with the financing options for that truck.
Yep, so again, like we did last time, just allowing us to go out for financing. We'll be doing this obviously with German American. And we did put in here, and we talked about this back in December of 24, of a not to exceed 2.5 because we have equipment to purchase for that truck. And not to make it sore or controversial, but we know we have a need, for example, well, not for example, we have a need to fully equip the last new engine that German Township purchased, which came in with no equipment. It's still being, worked on to be put in service and so forth, and there's some equipment. But with this, give us a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that the new ladder truck's fully equipped, and that truck would be fully equipped within the same parameters.
So the German engine that's being retired has,
We're not retiring the engine. That truck will just move to the other station at German.
Yep.
Because right now that station doesn't have a true engine at it. It has a pumper tanker, which is not my favorite to put out on a road for standard operation.
thank you. Who does, gonna ask?
Yeah, so here's if you guys make a motion to pass that resolution, please.
I'll make a motion, for the 2026-009 ladder truck approval.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks, guys. The other thing on the agenda for me is a salary resolution amendment. So when we approved the salary resolution back in January, I made the mistake of not thinking that we may need to add probationary spots due to vacancies. So we approved exactly the number of the probation members that we had on the payroll at that point, which Kendall brought.
He has a copy of it.
Okay. Kendall brought it to my attention that we're getting ready to hire a new probationary member, which would put us over that probationary number. So come back with a request to amend that resolution to include more probationary options. So if we do have to hire a new member, a new employee, that we have that flexibility. It's not adding to our staff. It's literally giving us the ability to have more of that title if need be.
So presently it says we have 6 and we're
So you
proposing.
need 2, correct?
2 additionals, yes, at least.
So do we,
Do we need
I
to
guess
make
the
it?
question is, do you want just the 2 or do you want to potentially add on additions so you don't come back?
I would say at this point, we could probably do the 2 because come June 16th, the ones that we have of that title will drop off. So they will move up to the next one, which they're included in the next.
Okay, all right, so you get some wiggle room.
Need to be a
Motion,
motion.
please, yeah.
I'll make a motion to amend the salary resolution for firefighter 1 probationary from 6 to 8.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
As he slinks back.
Anything for cemetery care? Anything on donations? Anything under legal?
So as a potential under legal with the building acquisition, we already have a June meeting set, correct?
Third
Wednesday,
Monday.
Monday, yeah. I'm just asking if you guys would please set a meeting for May and July in case things progress with the building that you need to act. As far as maybe moving funds or approving this or approving that, just so we don't come up against a hard stop and then we've got, the advertisement and so forth that we established as the public meetings. If we don't need it, then we can always put out there that the meeting's been canceled due to lack of business.
So stick to the third Monday,
So that would be May 18th.
May 18th.
You mentioned July as well.
And that's the week of fair, if that matters.
The third Monday would be the week of the fair in July.
So you want to make it the second, the 13th?
13th.
We want to list that in the minutes as placeholders.
Please. The scheduled meetings unless there's no business to attend to. Because we very well could with
So
potentially the meeting of the building. I would list them as solid meetings until we know there's nothing to do. That makes sense.
Okay. So the next meeting would be the 18th, with the 15th of June and being the next, and then the 13th of July.
Right.
Okay. All at noon?
Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
caught up. You want to make a motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion to, the next meetings be May 18th, June 15th, and July 13th as scheduled meetings unless there's no business to conduct at noon at Vandenberg County Fire Station number 1.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Did we get the Trust Indiana funds set up?
It's set up, but we have not transferred anything yet. We're still looking at which fund we want to transfer.
Think we can get that done by the next meeting?
It depends on, I think, Chief Farrar and his nervousness of allowing his EMS funds to go in there, yes.
We can get the funds out in a day, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then, the HR policy book,
I've got a draft copy, so we can put that in your Dropbox file.
okay. And that's approved? Do we have to approve it?
I mean, we approved it in the office, but I mean, you guys look at it, we can always change things.
Okay, so it's active?
Yep.
Okay.
Is there any additional public comment?
They all left.
Yeah, all of them.
Paul's here.
Paul's here?
So.
I was gonna say Jenny is here.
Jenny's here.
Jenny's here.
Yeah, you're public.
The only thing that I still haven't heard mentioned is there were groups that approached that wanted access to the park. The Boy Scouts wanted to set up a camping area where they could overnight camp and it would be permanent but not bother anything. Everybody was mixed promises.
Yep.
And then they wanted to build a building so that they could store their equipment there at the park.
Now that part I've never heard.
Surprise, right there.
Well,
But I mean, there were several groups like that. So my only question, and I felt like I didn't have the time to ask it, is, you know, everybody that's around the edge of that park has interests. There are hunters, there are, kids with little motorcycles. There are ultimately lots and lots of interest for every property owner that boards that thing. So how do you pick and choose? You know, I'm not saying,
right.
I'm not criticizing or anything. I'm
Right.
just saying, how do you decide? You know, Boy Scouts have always used the place to gather, you know, which is great.
Yeah.
But they wanted a piece of the park to be theirs.
So I actually have met with the Boy Scout troop.
Yeah,
And, you know, after we did the master plan, they kind of showed them the area, and I said, we're not sold on the area that was outlined. And they had a suggestion to move it a little bit, but I've not heard any more thing back with them. And I've asked them a couple of times after that, you know, and it's been a couple of years now. I even went to one of their meetings
yeah.
with their parents.
Well, I mean, I love that they have, I love that the park is for people.
Yeah.
That's what it's
So the Cub Scouts
designed for.
are when are you gonna camp out there?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just the den leader. I'm just the go-between.
okay.
But
So they're thinking about, you know, maybe just doing a camp out with the Cub Scouts there. So that's cool. So that would be open. I was surprised that, because some of the parents looked very enthusiastic and talked about, well, during like, they call it bad weather months. Like I know because when my son was always in the fall, like November, December, either raining or snowing. And, you know, they had one that they always went to at Harmony, but they thought this would be close so they could get in and get out and, you know, all the cleanup that went with it. Just never heard any more back. And I usually, I don't know, who's the scoutmaster for the Boy Scout troop? Still Pat?
Yeah, Pat Brenner.
Okay. I usually see him at the grandkids' dance stuff, because his kids dance at K's too. So I'll ask him again. But yeah,
Yeah, they were talking about putting a building up behind the garage.
didn't know that.
We were up there and walked it off.
Recently or
No,
long time ago?
This is Bob era.
Oh, okay.
I gotta tell you how
Thank you.
different things were. That's why I stayed for this meeting, because this is just cool as can be. When I'd ask about money, I would get thrown one of those, you know, the green and white striped computer papers with the little holes down the side.
Yeah.
He'd throw that on the table in front of me, and if I could find what I was looking for, then Barb would say, oh no, we took $200 out of that and put it over here in this fund. So you could never, the only time Larry was very interested in finances too.
Yeah.
The only time we could find answers to anything is once a year when it was published in the newspaper.
So just to
This
be,
is much different. I really,
so just to be totally transparent with you, I'm just surprised nobody brought it up. I had it written down just in case. So for this year, the park budget just is only $9,364. Now, we obviously use township general funds to pay for Paul and a lot of other things. And we're only, so you understand state finances, next year, we can only increase that by 4%. That's their max. So to try to build something up, to maintain what we have, like Paul said,
yeah,
you know, and Glenn talked about the bridges and so forth, you know, we're actually dipping into township general to help do that as much as we possibly can. So, and there's really no, I mean, we'll continue to search, and we have an accountant that works for us to try to bring that up to where it's a workable budget that the park could survive. And that's what we're up against. And so when you talk about additional overhead and work, the budget funds aren't there to support a lot of new infrastructure that, you know, you build something, you gotta take care of it,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
And Paul's yeoman job just get to where we're at. But like he said, he's been working on the dam. Once we get somebody in a row looks at the dam, you know, there may be other things we have to do just so that thing stays in place. And when a tree falls over, it doesn't take half the dam out because of the roots.
Right.
So anyhow, just.
Thank you for letting me stay.
Yeah.
If I could, I'd like to comment on her comments. And her comments. So it's not really new business or anything like that, but something that I am unaware of published rules and regulations of the park, any of our parks. Define what can you do, can't you do, can't. So like she said, a lot of people have different interests. I mean, I myself have had to tell people, no, they can't bow fish. No, they can't use RC boats all over the lake. I have one guy flying a drone around the playground, right at the playground picnic tables. No one else was in the park, so I didn't stop him because there's no defined rules I'm aware of that say, no, you can't use an RC boat. No, you can't bow fish. No, you can't fly a drone, right? Even anywhere on the park, much less right next to the playground. So something that I think we should consider going forward is, like she said, not only what are things that we want to consider or address before we get ourselves into more situations like this, but also what are easy lists of things that are just an absolute no, or things that we have the freedom, and if there's not a specific item addressed by our rules, that park staff is written in some of the other parts that I've looked at the rules, they actually have in there that park staff, in the absence of a rule, can limit something temporarily until it can be addressed by a higher body.
Have you come across access of some written park rules that we
When I was
could use as a template?
Yeah, I think it might have been, it was either Scales Lake or, Interlake. I was looking at, they had park rules, and part of that at the end was the part of, I think it might have been Scales Lake that talked about, in the absence of a rule, park staff can do this until, obviously, you know, I don't want to be the mediator, I don't want to say someone can or can't, but they can or can't, you know what I mean? But I can also understand if something just doesn't seem right, I can also see where, since we're the ones that there, someone needs to be able to police it, for lack of a better word, until you can address it.
Yep.
There used to be rules on a piece of paper tucked on the side of the shelter house, but the rules were very subjective to interpretation, and so they've not been up on the side of the shelter house for several years. I believe I still have an ancient paper typewriter copy of them, if you'd like to review them, but they definitely need to be reviewed before being posted again.
The absolute most frequent request I've received is mountain bike and e-bike access.
And again, with the reference to the master plan, there was a new trail area for those. In fact, that group even kind of said, but we'll help you build it, type of thing.
Yeah, and that's interesting to say because there are e-bike trails at Scales and they are in fact maintained mostly or in a large part by the bicycle community. I'm not sure what.
And that, the gentleman that was up here, he was part of that, and he participated, obviously, during the 3 master plan meetings that we had.
Did you have something else? Nope.
So make a motion to adjourn, but
Well, then I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.